Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Salesforce Musketeer. In today's video, we are going to learn about Omni Channel routing. This is a part 4 video of a service cloud. So what is Omni Channel? It is a Salesforce feature to automatically route different kind of work items such as cases or lead to agent based on agent's capacity, priority, skills. It is a customer service and console based feature. So just like we have a Salesforce provide different features. For example, you automatically send a email to a customer when a case is created, automatic reply, or case gets created from the email if customer sends you. Similarly, omnichannel is also one of the features. In this feature, the work items such as cases or even it could be a lead automatically gets assigned to an agent so that they can work on it. I just want to say that Omni-channel is not limited only to Service Cloud. It can also be a feature which can be used in Sales Cloud. What Omni stands for? Omni stands for all, which means everything at one place. So channel is a way to communicate, such as you have one way is phone, web, email, live chat. So basically everything at one place, then that is called Omni-channel. So to understand omni-channel further, we need to understand what are the problems we were facing or customers were facing without omni-channel. So when cases were getting assigned, some agents working very efficiently and they were getting overbooked with the work, while some agents were relaxing, so they were not getting booked with the work. So everybody was not utilized efficiently. Low priority issues are getting assigned while high priority issues are left behind. So agents were just assigning themselves with all the low priority issues, simple issues, leaving behind all the complex issues, which is not right. Somebody also has to work on complex issues. Cases which required special skill should be assigned to an agent who are trained to handle complex issues. Some companies offer very complex products. For example, internet companies offer Wi-Fi, fiber internet, and they also have some cable services. So different products which they offer have different set, it requires different set of skills for a person to resolve those issues. So in order to automate any cases which are being created for specific product has to go to a specific agent or a queue of agent which has specific skill. That kind of a problem was resolved or is being resolved by omni-channel. There are three types of omni-channel. One is queue-based routing, second is skill-based routing, and third is external routing. So we'll learn about queue-based routing first. So here, if you see, I've taken an example where two cars have been collided. So let's say that's a very common case. So for example, if you are the customer of a Progressive Insurance and your car got collided with another car, then you will call them, and what will they do? They will create a case. So in that case, they will, let's say we have a queue in which we have 10 or 15 agents. So the case will be created, and when it will be assigned to a queue, then 15 agents who are ready to work upon a case will be assigned with that case. Now case can be only assigned to a one agent. Now from that queue, if omni-channel is not there, agent will see the case and automatically manually go and assign the case to themselves. But in queue with omni-channel routing, case will automatically be assigned from queue to an agent. So that's the work of omni-channel, to assign a case to a specific agent. But what it considers before it assigns that case, it checks whether the agent is present, is it available, does it have a capacity. For example, if you see on my screen, there are three agents. The third agent already has two cases. Let's say we configure a Salesforce that any agent at a given point of time can only has a capacity to handle two cases. So his capacity is totally full. But if you see this third agent, he doesn't have any case assigned. So he looks like an ideal candidate or ideal agent for the next work. So Omni channel will assign that case to this person, but he also needs to accept or deny the case based on the configuration we set. So if all three answers are yes, then this case will be assigned to this specific agent. Now let's move to the next slide. So sometimes people do get confused, then what's the difference between case assignment rule and omni-channel? Because in case assignment rule also, you can assign cases based on certain criteria. Like if it's a high priority case, you can assign it to a specific queue or a user. But let me tell you what's the exact difference. The behavior of omni-channel start once a case is assigned to a queue, and assignment rules are fired once case is created to assign it to a specific queue or a user. So I would say once the assignment rule is run after the creation of a case, it is assigned to a queue. But from queue to a specific user, omni-channel has to intervene, and based on certain criteria, it will assign it to a specific agent. So overall, assignment rule is fired first. If AR is satisfied, it will be assigned to a user or a queue. If assigned to a user, then no question of omni-channel. Then omni-channel will not work because it has already been assigned to a user. But if it is assigned to a queue, then there are two more scenarios. If a queue is not configured with routing configuration, which I will tell you how to configure omni-channel. So consider this, that if a queue is not configured with routing configuration, then it is not considered as an omni-channel queue, and case remains in the queue unless any user manually sees it and accept it. If a queue is configured with a routing configuration, which I'm going to show in demo, then it is an omni-channel queue, and now omni-channel will route the case to an agent. That's a duty or responsibility of omni-channel, to assign it to a specific agent based on different conditions like capacity, priority, or most availability. If a queue based routing, then agent in that queue is, if it is available and has capacity to accept that work, the case is routed to him. If a skill based routing is implemented, then whether that agent has a specific skill to resolve that case or not, based on that and based on his availability or capacity, the case will be routed to him or her. Now these are the simple eight. It might look intimidating, but these are simple 8 steps that you need to configure to have an omni-channel working in your Salesforce org. So let's go through it. First is enabling omni-channel. You just need to go to a setup and go to enable omni-channel and just check the checkbox on. Once omni-channel is established, then you need to have a service channel created, which is nothing. Basically, you want to associate that, okay, do you want this omni-channel to be enabled for lead or a case? That kind of a configuration you would do it service channel. Now the third item, which is a routing configuration, where you will specify the priority and the work item weightage, that will be done in routing configuration. Fourth is assigning that routing configuration, which you enable in step 3, to a queue. That this case based on this work item priority will be assigned to this specific queue. Now fifth and sixth is very easy. It's just the presence configuration, that whether his presence configuration is like whether available, busy, or at lunch or something which you want to set up. Then you can do it at step number 5. Once you have that presence configuration, presence status set up, then you need to assign that presence status to a profile. Now the 8th one is just very easy. It's just going to a console app and configure to have omni-channel as a utility on the footer, so that you can click on omni-channel, it opens up, and there you can see any case is being assigned to you where an agent can accept or deny. So let's go on a demo and see how it works. Now we have a brand new org, and in the brand new org, the first thing to set up omni-channel, what we will do here is we will enable this omni-channel, and then we will create a service channel. So let's go to setup. And then we will go to omni channel, channel setting. If you see here that I have enabled this omni channel, but if you do not have this checkbox checked on, then you need to check this on to in order to enable Omni Channel. So these are the another channel checkboxes for enabling skill based, which we will see in a short while in this video only. So let's go ahead and see what are the other steps we need to do for queue based routing. So after this we will go to service channel. Click on new. So if you see here, route work from a Salesforce object such as cases, chat, lead, or even some custom objects. So you can, it supports custom object, cases, leads. So you just need a way to associate an object to your Omni channel. So here we will select case, and we will say Salesforce Musketeer channel, and then what we do is just we'll click on save. Once we have enabled service channel, now we need to go and create routing configuration. Let me click on this new, and we'll say demo Salesforce, and now these are very important things. That routing priority tells that determines the order in which work item across your omni-channel queue get pushed to your agent. Low priority items are pushed first. So you can set up, for example, in case high priority can be when you set up low priority items, in the cases they can be pushed first to an agent, and the high priorities can be pushed later. You can set this up. So for right now, I'll just set this app as 1. And in routing model, you have least active, which most active versus external routing. Least active is, as you see over here, the fewest number of open item work items assigned to an agent. So for example, there's an agent A, agent B. Agent A has 2 work item, agent B has 5 work item. Then automatically this will be assigned to agent A because he has only 2 work item, which is less than 5 work item by the another agent. So that's least active. But what is most available? So most available is, for example, we create a queue or where user has capacity of handling 10 cases. So I'll say one per case, the capacity, the unit of work is 1, and they can handle 10 cases. So their capacity is 10, and other agent has a capacity of 20. So let's say the user A has 2 work assigned while the other user has 3 cases assigned, but the capacity of the other agent is more. So total number of capacity minus the number of work. So let me show you in a notepad. So if there's an agent A which has a capacity of 10, and agent A has work assigned which is 2. Now the available capacity is 8. Now another agent B has a capacity of 20, let's say, and has work equals to, let's say, 3. Now the available is 17. So according to most available, if we set this routing model, then the agent B will be assigned work before agent A. But if I flip the status to least active, then in that case, as agent A only has 2 work assigned while agent B has 3 work, then agent A will receive the work. But I'll keep it simple. I'll say least active, and then I'll just click on save. Before I click on save, I need to also tell that specify the size of work item in the queue associated with this configuration. So as I said, I can say that one case assigned means 1 unit, or I can specify percentage, but I'm just going with the unit of capacity. Click on save. Now I want to associate a queue with this routing configuration. So what I will do is first I'll go and create a queue. Here I will say new and agents handle cases, and here I will say available object is a case. And if you see, this is the routing configuration where we will select the routing configuration which we just created. And the user, I have one user, I need one more user, so I'll just click here and save. I will create one more user and come back here to this queue. For that, let me go and go to user, uh, say test and test it. Right, and I will choose here license Salesforce data. Our user got created. Now I will go back to the queue, and in this queue I will go to this and click on edit. Now after we created a queue and assign it to a routing configuration, the next step is to create a presence configuration. So we came to present configuration and now click on new. Here's a place where we can specify the capacity, that maximum amount of work that agent can handle at a time. As I told you that in the text pad, that how do you determine capacity and the most who is more available. So it's based on this capacity and the amount of work is being assigned to an agent. So I will say that demo musketeer, and here I say the capacity is 10. They can handle 10 cases because one case is one, unit of work is one, and then capacity I've given is 10. So now what I will do here is I will assign it to queue. So once you have this presence configuration configured for demo musketeer with capacity 10, if you want, you can assign this to a profile. For example, we have system admin profile. We can also assign it. Yes, and click on save. After this is done, we will go and go to present status. In present status, if you see, already we have available, busy, on break. Similarly, we can create for our cases. We'll say available, we'll say online, yes, and this is the channel which we created. Save, and I will go on to another present status and click on new, and here I will say on break, busy, already, so I'll say on lunch. Once we have this enabled, all we need to go is to a profile, system admin, but that is a profile on which we have two users. On those two users are assigned to a queue, so I will go to that system admin profile, and in this profile I will Go to this present status. And edit. I will choose the one which we created. I want busy to and on lunch. Click on save. Now we got all our steps done. Only the last step is pending, which is enabling Omni Channel. So we'll go to App Manager and go to Service Console. Yeah. If you see here Service Console, go here and click on this, edit. Go on utility. And if you see it's already there, but if you don't have it, just click on add utility and click on Omni Channel here, and that will be added, and then click on save. That's it. Now it's time for demo. Let's see how it works. So I'll go to Service Console. So to see this in working Omni Channel, we'll go to a Service Console, and if you see we have Omni Channel on the bottom, so we can click on this, and if you are offline you can make it available, then only the case will be assigned, will come to you, because one of the conditions is checked for to assign it to agent, that is it available or not. Now I'll just go and create a case here. Click on case, and I'll say case origin is email. Let's say somebody email. Internet speed is low, 50 Gbps what, but I get speed of 5 Gbps. Click on save. But in order for Omni Channel to work, the case owner should be your queue. So let's assign this to a queue. This is our agent. This was our queue, agent handle cases. Then we'll click on change order. The moment you click on it, if you see over here on the left side, as I'm available, so that's why it is coming to me, and I can either accept it or reject it based on the configuration you do. You can even select give an option to reject. Let's create another case. Let's say that one, and here I say test. Click on save. Now based on our configuration, that it should be assigned to another user because another user is idle, and this user has already my work, if you see 2, but let's see if that happens or not. So if you see the 2 work is coming to me instead of going to another, because the another user is not available. If I have in another screen or another laptop, I have another user enabled and available, then this will go to that user automatically. I'll click on accept, and that's how Omni Channel is working for queue based routing. Let's move forward to another slide. Let's see about external routing. So if you see the definition of external routing, what it says is that if there's already a logic implemented outside Salesforce to have a routing enabled where the cases are automatically assigned to an agent based on anything like agent's availability or agent skill set, then we can honor that routing available outside Salesforce, but we can use those third-party routing and assign work items to an agent via Service Console. That is an external routing. This option is also available in Salesforce. Now let's go to our third topic, which is skill-based routing. It's more complex in nature. So what happens in certain cases which may or may not be associated with a product which requires a special skills to resolve that. In that case, skill-based routing comes into play where special skills are assigned to an agent who possess those skills. For example, if I say like I have an insurance company and I want 10 users to be trained for any collision related to cars, but for trucks we need a special skill set or special training. So certain agents will be trained for truck. Then based on the training given or the skill they have, the case will be routed to appropriate agent. So let me take an example. So in this only, the car accident has happened, and let's say the calling user is speaking in English. Then this agent A, is specialized in car collision and can only speak in English. Then this case will be assigned to that particular agent. Now, if another customer who can only speak in Hindi, now in that case we have another agent who can talk in Hindi. Then that case will be assigned to that particular user. Now, third is this agent is specialized in truck related accidents. So in that case, and he can speak English and Hindi both, then the third agent would be appropriate to handle such cases. So depending upon the criteria of the case, we can assign it to a specific agent based on skill-based routing. So in skill-based routing also, we need to first go to we have 7 steps, but the first step is we go just like in the enabling Omni Channel routing. We went to Omni Channel setting and enable Omni Channel. Underneath that, we also have a skill-based routing which we will enable it. Then we'll create a service channel, we'll create a skills, and then we will create a service resource for the agent. Service resource is another object which associate a user which you have created with the skills they possess. So it's basically kind of a junction object. Now, after assigning skills to assign skills to a service resource on the service resource object, we will create a present status which we created in previous steps also and assign it to a profile, and then route work items, for example case, using skills with Apex, or we can use flow, or we can use attribute setup. So in this demo we will use Apex, as well as I will show you how to do attributes routing setup. So first thing we are going to do is we will go to a setup and enable a skill-based routing, and for that we need to go to Omni Channel setting, and here we will click on enable skill-based routing and click on save. Now after this, the second step, let's go to the second step, which is creating a service channel. So as we have already created service channel in this org, but I'll just show you. If you have not created, what you need to do is you need to go to a service channel and create a give your service channel a name and a name associated with an object which is a case. So your service channel is created. Now, as I said, in skill-based routing, based on a skill an agent possesses and based on the skill required for a case, that match has to be made by a skill-based omni-channel routing. So for that we need to have a skills created. So for that I'll go to skills and create skills over here. So first skills, as I give you, car collision is one. Let's say I'm training agents on how to handle car collision cases, and let me, I'll just leave the skill type as blank and assign this to a file with the system administrator and click on, let me create 3 more skills. Another is the language, which I can say English. Okay. Let me do that later and click on save. Hindi, and click on truck collision. So we got four skills created. Now let's me go to service resource. So first I will create a service resource for my own user, which is Nikhil, and I'll click on new, and I'll say Nikhil. Nikhil, let me give anything agent. I'll say I need to make it active, and I need to add skills to it. Now it should be in related list. If it's not there, no worries, we'll just go to edit object, as it's my new org, so I have not added this yet, but I'll go to uh, page layout, and I'll click on this, and I'll go to related list. Related list, I will see skills, service resource skills. I will choose this and add this. Save. That's it. I will go here, service resource. All I need is fresh, and I got the skills. So for Nikhil, I can say that I can handle English, and then I say it onwards, and I'll say again I'll go to related list. No, go to related list, and I will add car collision, and I'll click on save. Now I will create another user, another service resource. So let me go to service resource again and create a new one. I'll say test demo, agent, save, related list, skill, which is a truck collision. This is the level you can give from 1 to 99 based on what you said. So let's say 10 is like he's very skillful. Okay. And then I will go to related again. I add a new skill, English, or so we have created two service resources. One is Nikhil and one is test, and we have assigned skills to both of them. Now let's move ahead with the next step, which is creating a present status. Let me open PPT again just to show you our next what we have done. So we have enabled skill-based routing. Created service channel was already created, so we are leveraging the existing service channel, and we have created skills, created service resources, assigned skills. Now we need to create a present status and assign to profile. If you remember, we have already created present status, which was available, busy, on break, at lunch, and assigned it to our system admin profile. So we will skip this step here, and the last is route work items using skill with Apex or attribute routing setup. So we will use Apex first. So in this demo, I'm going to show you how we can route these work items using skill-based routing. And so we will show how I will create a class where I will add a code to create. The first thing what we are going to do is we are going to create a pending service routing. So this is just an object where skill-based routing or Salesforce, it checks your pending skill routing, that which case it belong, will associate a case ID. We will say that set up some settings, like for example most available, and I will show you in the code, and then we will see what are the skills required for that particular case. Now you can have a custom logic whether you want to check the subject for the case or particular pick list or the description. Then we can find that skills required, and we will associate this pending service request with that skill, and we will update that pending service request that it is now available for routing. So let's get back to the code. So this is the code I've written where I've created a class route case based on skill. The first thing I'm checking out is the service channel which I created. So this is the developer name of the service channel, and I'm getting the ID of the service channel. Then I'm also getting all the skills we have configured. If you remember, we have configured this skill. We have two agents. One is with name test, another with the name Nikhil. So first agent has this truck collision skill. Basically, any cases where related to collision of a truck, then this should go to here. And this person speaks Hindi. So if a customer wants to speak in Hindi, then this will go here. But if a person wants to speak in English, or the car collision has happened, then this will go to Nikhil. Now, these are the skills which we will get over here. We will get 4 rows, which is Hindi, English, car collision, and truck collision. And then I have written a logic here. Please note that this is not bulkified. So this is not the standard way of writing. When you are writing, just make sure that insert and all this are written outside the for loop. Any insert or update should be outside the for loop. So for the case which we get from this here, which is on this method, and we get the parameter case object. So we'll go through that case list of cases. Then we will create a pending service routing, which I talked about. Then we will associate it with the case ID, work item ID. What is the routing type? It's a skill based. Routing priority is 1, capacity weight is 1. And we will say the service channel ID, which we get it from here. Then we will say what is the routing model. The most recent, either we can set most recent or most available. Then is it ready for routing? No, it's not ready because we have not found what is the skill required for that case yet. So we will create that pending service routing, which we will update once we find the skill. So now here I'm checking case, again going through the loop of the skills we have, which is 4 in our case. So in that we will see the case which we are already routing through. Like for this case description, does it contain that skill like Hindi, English, or truck routing? If it says yes, it contains it, then I'm adding it to that list. And then here I will go through that list in for loop, and I will create the skill requirement here because these are the skills needed for that case. So if, for example, they say truck collision and Hindi, then I will create 2 skill requirements and add it here and insert it. So if you see here, and skill requirement, the first thing is needed is skill ID, which we get it from here. So we get the master list from all the skills IDs. We check whether the case has that skill. We add it in here, these IDs, and that same ID we are going to associate it with the skill requirement here. Once we got the ID, then we will check the related list it's related to, which is nothing but a pending service routing. And once we have that PSR ID over here, then we will say what is the skill level required. So right now I've set up 10. So we say the basic requires is 5. And then I will add it to that list skill of requirements so that we can insert records. So here, if let's say I just created a case where English and truck collision is required, then 2 rows will be created for skill requirement. One for English, one for truck collision. After that, I will update PSR that it is ready for routing, true, and update. That's it. Very simple. You can call this from a flow, or you can call it from this trigger. I've called it from a trigger here. Let me open it. So I've called it from the trigger after insert. You can also call it from, not from process builder. You can call it from process builder, but flow is appropriate. So you can call it from there. And let's see how it works now. I will, if you see, I've logged in as a test demo. And just to revise that these are the setup I've done for test demo, truck collision and Hindi skill required. So I'll just go here and create a case, new. I'll choose here as phone, like collision happened, like say truck collision happened at McKinney and Independence Road, and I will save it. See, the moment I saved it, it has automatically routed to this person test demo, and I can accept this work. So this work is accepted and assigned to test demo. Now, if let's say if I create another case with car collision this time, car collision happened here. So let's see. And let's say the language also, which is English. Customer wants to talk in English. Let's save it. If you see it's not coming over here, so I will just log in as myself just to see if I got this work. I click on available. You see, the work is assigned as coming to me and I can accept it. Just in case if you are facing issue that this available is not, when you click on offline to available and you're logging in, then there could be many problems, like there could be ad blocker which is preventing you from going in, or the user which you are logged in from is not a service setup user, or check the presence configuration is assigned to that user. So these are some steps which you can follow to fix the issue if it takes forever for you to log into available. So far what we have done is to enable skill-based routing, we have first of all set up the Omni channel and we created a service channel. And after that, we didn't do any routing configuration, no queue, but we created skills and assigned those skills to a service resource. And then we wrote a class where in class, we created an object for pending service routing, where we assigned this PSR with work related ID with case ID. And then we provided some routing types. And then after that, we try to know the skill requirement. For skill requirement, we went through case subject and created skill requirements. And then we assigned the skill requirement with the related record, which is a PSR.id. So we did like that, skill requirement dot related record ID equals to PSR ID, which is nothing but pending service request object dot ID. And we updated pending service request to is ready for routing, is ready for routing equals to true. And then it started routing, then omnichannel started working. Now what I say, the same thing you can do with configuration. So if requirement is not very complex, which it's simple, then that same thing can be achieved in a skill-based routing configuration. So here I'll just quickly show. First, you need to go to setup omnichannel, then setup service channel. Here, just like in queue-based routing, you will create a routing configuration. In routing configuration, there's a configuration to check enable skill-based routing attribute. So please note that the skill-based routing configuration earlier used to known as attribute setup, attribute-based routing, which is now renamed to skill-based routing configuration. So when you create a routing configuration, you will create a queue, and in that you will assign that queue with that routing config in queue. On a queue definition, you will choose this routing configuration. Then same steps, create a skill, assign to resource. And here what we have done something extra is we created a language pick list, and there you can select English or Hindi. And then based on the routing configuration, which you will do, I think I missed that part. So once you have skill to resource, then here you can do. Now after creating a language pick list, you will create a skill-based routing. Here in skill-based routing, you will see that if the language is equals to skill, which is English, then route this based on the skill-based routing. Let's see how we do it. We'll quickly see the setup. So first we'll go to setup. Here we will go skill omni channel. Thus, I'll show you the first step, which is omni channel setting. Here you will enable omni channel and you will also enable skill-based and direct to agent routing. Once you enable this, then second thing you need to do is enable service channel, which you will tell on which object you want to enable this. I'll say that I want to enable this on the case object. This is what I did. And third thing is routing configuration. So in routing configuration, I just created this routing configuration. Let's see. So here I choose routing model as most available, and routing priority as one. You don't need to give this. And then this is very important. Used with scale-based routing rules. You have to check this and choose the skills which we have. You can create skills first and then choose the skills that are the selected skills, and then unit of capacity as one. Then after routing skills, you need to go to a queue so that you create a queue here with the and select the number of users here. So if you see, I chose that routing configuration which I just showed you, and the available object and the users who are these are the users in this queue. Now third thing, now one another thing is similar, like which we did in Apex skill based routing, that you need to create skills. I'll go here. So I created English and Hindi. After you create skills, then you need to go to service resource. Service resource is not available like this, then you have to enable field service lightning. Then once I created service resource here and I chose my own name as a user, resource type as agent, then active. And in related list, you can drag service resource skills related list and choose the skill, like for example, English with skill level this and with the start and the end date. Similarly, I did it for the another service resource, which is test, and I chose this user and I chose skill truck collision in Hindi. Now, after this, I created a case in a field on the case object, which is, let me show you. So this is a language field where you can choose one of the skills, English or Hindi. But to start this Omni channel, the most important step is that you need to do configuration. And for that, I'll go to based skill-based routing rules. So in that, let me show you. Edit. I gave the name. After that, you choose any field. So I chose this language field, and then in that language I chose the value. English should match with this English skill, and skill level Hindi should match with Hindi skill, and then done. Once this is active, then all you need to do is enable the Omni channel, and then create with the language, let's say English. Okay, so is it this? And then go to detail. The most important thing is you have to give the queue, which is Salesforce demo. Once you do this, then it will work on your system. It did work on my system because I think there's some problem with I have a browser, but it should work in your system. And that was a quick summary of how to make skill-based routing work via Apex versus skill-based routing configuration rule. Thank you.